Welcome back to the Pez and Pork Show. Sorry about that, Peck. I didn't mean to mispronounce your name there, Pez. Anyway, so I welcome back to civilization. Living without internet must have been quite difficult.
Yeah, it was. I've got about 5 drafts going on. It was a bit stressful, but we managed to get through it all. It was a good weekend. Can't complain.
Well, we're happy that you were able to make it back in time for our show today. We are going to be doing an exciting show all about the draft recap up to where we are. Johnny has mentioned, which is back in the booth, by the way. Welcome here with Johnny. We have most drafts up to round 10 or 11 at least. So we're really getting a feel of what each team is going to look like, because we're basically drafting players that probably may not ever play or play only if there's an injury. So after around 12 or 13. So Johnny, are we ready with our first lead? Thank you, Everett. Everett, nice. I love it. All right. So here we have the St. Magnus division. Let's see here if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. There we go. All right. Oh, no, my chat's getting bigger, but the screen's getting smaller. That's not good. Okay. All right. So, Pez, any thoughts coming off the top of your head in this league?
I'm just trying to go. I'm just looking at him now quickly. I did like Bishy, drafting second overall. I like his wide receivers. His running backs are a bit thin, but he has got the ones for several teams. I do like Javonte Williams this year. I think he's going to surprise a few and get back on to form he was before he got the injury. He's got Franklin, who we spoke about a lot of times, who's a powerhouse in the IDP scoring, and Singleton I reckon will be a good scorer for tackling this year with the Broncos. Just his tight end then let him down, and his quarterback, I like to go all in on Caleb Williams that high, and then Cole Kmet with all them weapons. I understand the stack. I'm not a big stack fan, but I did like his picks, but then the tight end with the premium, and then stacking it with the quarterback no one really knows. Bishop,
he could have
said it is a while to go over a proven commodity of Jackson.
Hey, Pez, everyone knows I'm a Cowboys fan, but usually I'm able to put aside my fandom when it comes to evaluating players. I am still shocked at how low people value Dak Prescott. Every year, he's drafted towards the bottom end of the quarterbacks. He finished number 2 in the MVP voting last year. Am I missing something that, he finishes, I think, number 3 or 4 last year in as a quarterback in most fantasy leagues in scoring? What am I missing? Why is Prescott always available so late?
Do you know, you make a really good point there, because as I was going along the teams, Johnny put his actual team name in the chat. I didn't get to see it clearly, but Orton Warriors. Yeah. But then as I was going along, that's the one that caught my eye, as you just said it, because like Justin Jefferson, Kyron Williams, then you've got 2 top-end tight ends, and if they produce what we saw last year, you literally could play them 2 in this league and have great success. And then you've got Brock Bowers, if he plays to the production he had at Georgia, you've basically got 3 tight ends. Like,
yeah,
I do like what he's done there, and I'm in a lot of leagues with him, so I feel like he's don't know his name, just a load of letters, but
Yeah, it's about a rock band.
I do like that.
Yeah, it's about a rock band, I believe. I'm actually in several leagues with several of these guys. So this is quite interesting.
I am too.
This is a quite interesting league. Yeah.
Benjamin Skull on the end there. What do you think to that? Because if it was a super flex, you'd be like, I like what he's done with Mahomes and Kyler, but that's just a big headache, in my opinion. I do like his wide receivers.
He is stacked. Well, the top 3 wide receivers are looking good. I'm not sold on Ridley. What are you thinking? What do you think Ridley's production is going to be this year?
Oh, I think after the news for Hopkins, because he's just he got ruled out, was it 4 to 6 weeks? I think that makes me think I'd be all in on Ridley, because I could see with Hopkins there, they just start distracting from the other, and you don't know who Will Levis, you don't know what Will Levis is about, and then who's he going to favour that game? It's like, especially in redraft, it's a massive headache in my opinion. Whereas I probably would have took Xavier Worthy over him, because I really like him, especially in that Mahomes. If you're a stacker, he could have got Mahomes and Worthy together. I think that could have been an absolute deadly combination this year.
Oh yeah, I'm real high on Worthy now. Definitely.
I do like his overall construction of the team. I do see, actually, he took Hollywood, so he clearly values the veteran over the rookie. But I like his wide receivers. That too. I do get the quarterback situation, but I think it might become too much of a headache at some point. I do like Mosley as his IDP, his first selection there. He's normally a tackling monster, what will just get you really nice points. Is there any others you that stand out for you?
I'm still looking at all the teams. I do like that. Some of these running backs that I see drafted late, like Najee Harris. That's a running game first for the Steelers, and even when he was hurt the last 2 seasons, he had over 1,000 yards. I think people, you mentioned another one earlier, Javonte Williams. They are like the lost running backs from 3 years ago that were really high. People were trading up for them. I'm expecting big things from Harris and Williams this season. But I kind of like the pick there. I like Jaden Reed there. I think that he and Love really started to show some chemistry towards the end of the season. How are you feeling about taking Reed in the 7th round? Is that about where you expect him, or is that too high?
I get why people like him so much. I had him last year in fantasy, and he's such a good weapon. But I feel like people are underestimating Christian Watson's value in this team as the actual one, because I remember having Reed, and when Christian Watson came back, he was almost like force-fed targets. I feel like people might be sleeping on the fact, if it's true, if he's had the Alvin Kamara treatment and he's found out his injuries were related to imbalances in his legs, and then Alvin Kamara had a decent year last year, he did taper off, and Everett makes a really good point. Dobbs, I think, is being really slept on as well. Like, I'm just talking, and I'm already confusing myself. Like, there's too many weapons. Like, for me, if it's best ball, go and get the whole Packers offense, like I did with the Chargers last year, and you'll probably have an amazing best ball draft. But in redraft, that whole Packers situation is one big headache, except for Jordan Love.
Yeah, I can see that. I have Jaden Reed
That's what,
several of my leagues as the wide receiver too, and I'm quite nervous about that. So
I think
yeah,
Sean Behoy, 87. I don't know how the hell he's managed it, but he's got pretty much the 1-2 IDP. The 1-2 in the IDP from last year. I can never say the bloody names.
Karake.
Yeah. Oh, Karake and
Olulukan.
Olulukan. Yeah, that's it. We'll go with that. Well, we won't butcher it any harder. I do like what he's done there.
Oh, wow.
His running backs are. You did make a good, compelling point about Najee. Nick Chubb, but I can see why he's done it. Like, chuck him on the IR spot, and if he comes back and you get a steal on that. Corum, me and Johnny are big fans of Corum, but he's not really. He's not really one to. Yeah, I don't think he's one to put your mast on really as confidence to get you week in week out points. So really, at the moment, he's got Pacheco, and that's about it.
Harris, that's it, really. Yeah,
I don't.
Corum is not solid.
Well, other than them IDPs, his team.
Looking solid. It's an interesting division.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what the predictions are later.
I did see Johnny. I did see Johnny and Everett in the chat mentioning. Is it Paterol 1204? Patol? The second to last.
2104.
Yeah,
yes.
Yep. I see where they're coming from. Laporta and Kincaid together, neighbours. If you like, if you like Daniel Jones, then yeah, you could do. Jameer Gibbs probably going to be solid.
See how many or how young his team is. Almost every single player is either a rookie or second-year player.
I like it though. Do you know what? Like, I'm a Seahawks fan, so I've been watching it, and I think with Grubb as the OC, I think JSN could have a really good year this year. Xavier Worthy, you just need to watch any college film of him and not watch all the little clips you see on social media of him getting bounced around on training field and stuff. Like, he's legit. Zay Flowers is essentially the one.
Team, man.
And the one I do like is Stephon Diggs. I think everyone's getting a bit overexcited because let's have a look. Who went before Stephon Diggs in the wide receivers for the
Cooper,
Texans?
Evans, Smith.
Oh, no, so fair enough.
Wow.
Stephon Diggs was the first, from what I can see, was the first wide receiver for the Texans, and that's how it should be. Because I know Tank Dell, I had him last year, really exciting player, but you do not get a Stephon Diggs in your team and go, you're just going to play second fiddle. Like, everyone else is playing second fiddle to Stephon Diggs. And I'm sure Everett, I think when he came on, Everett was speaking high on Nico Collins. I might have got that wrong with who was speaking highly on him. I think it was Everett.
Nico was the first one. Yeah.
Was Nico the first one? Oh, yeah. So Nico Collins went before Stephon Diggs, but I think absolutely wild.
4-7 Diggs. Yeah. Yeah. Trades. Yeah. All right. I think we've discussed most teams here. Let's go and see what we have next, Johnny, in the other league. Who do we have? Oh, man. Can you imagine all the notifications Johnny gets every night when he goes to bed?
Yeah, it's 15,000 leagues he's got going on.
Yeah. This is Johnny's league at number 1. Let's tear it apart.
Oh, let's have a look. Let's scrutinize him, shall we?
Of course. Kelsey. Well, injury-riddled Kelsey. That'll give you 10 games this year. Waddle. I do like Waddle. Yeah, I'm still high on him. Third round.
Yeah, I could see him having a bounce back.
Third round might be a little quick. when you still had Evans out there. But I still like Waddle. Stroud, okay.
Can see that. Cooper Kupp, really like him this year. I think it's crazy how far he's dropped down. I know Puka had a really good year, but people just need to remember.
Duke, that's Duke's trade. Yeah,
so
okay.
Duke picked them.
Yeah, so Johnny has Brees Hall.
So Johnny has Brees Hall.
Wow, right. He has a McCaffrey and Hall. I'm sure he's proud of that. But then Stroud. Let's look at his receivers. His receivers.
Puka just got injured as well, Everett said.
Yeah, a lot of question marks here.
How bad was that injury? Do you know?
I read that, but I didn't take it that it was that serious. But maybe I should search that, because if he's seriously injured, that's really hurting a lot of my teams.
Let's have a look. I'll go on him now whilst you're having a quick scan.
Yeah.
Potential knee issue.
Knee injury. That's not good.
Oof. That could screw a load of people up.
Oh, my.
No preseason. Oof. Oh, it's Cooper Kupp's team again then, isn't it? So, yeah. Johnny's got McCaffrey, Brees Hall, absolute monsters. Potentially just a 1-2. I'll be 1-2 again.
His wide receivers are Kupp, Reed, Samuel, and Sutton. That's a lot of question marks.
So I think out of all them, the one who is slept on the most is Cortland Sutton. I think he'll get you sneaky production, just ticking by.
Yeah, I think he was a top 30 wide receiver, and you have 3 wide receivers per team. That still puts him as a solid wide receiver 3 on any team. But it seems like no one wants him. No one wants him.
If he doesn't demand a trade. Even if he demands a trade, he'll be going to a wide receiver team.
Contract extension, didn't he?
Yeah, he sorted the contract, He restructured.
Yeah.
I think he's restructured, so I think he's happy. He's probably going to stay there for at least the next year. I do like...
so you're thinking that whoever has Kyron Williams is going to be... Well, let's look at who has Kyron Williams, because I was just looking at this team. Roddy, number 1. Mahomes, Williams, and then his wide receivers of Metcalf, Ayuk, Higgins, Godwin, and Ridley, the guy you like, and Lockett has his last. I mean, that's not bad. And he has Montgomery and Moss and Ford. I mean, that's all running back number 1s except for Montgomery, and that's a number 1. The team's not looking too bad. What's your thoughts on Roddy's team?
Yeah, he's pretty balanced, isn't he, to be fair? Metcalf, Ayuk, T. Higgins is a bit of a question mark, but you kind of take that gamble, don't you? Because for all you know, before the season starts, he might get himself traded. Burrow still likes giving him his games where he goes off. Calvin Ridley with Hopkins now missing most of preseason. It's only his time to elevate himself with really no one else in the pecking order. One name what I'm not seeing right now with that Hopkins news with like Ben Sinnott, who's not guaranteed to get starting time. I know he's got 3 tight ends anyway, but like Musgrave with the Packers, I'd be looking at Chigakonkwo. Now Hopkins is out. I feel like Chig can get moved up in the tight end pecking order solely because Hopkins is missing most of the preseason, so he's going to get them targets. Probably Tret as the 2, because who else have they got? They've got Burks. He couldn't keep himself healthy or really give good production. So you got Ridley and Chigakonkwo. So if I was a tight end needy team with a tight end with potential great upside, I think Chigakonkwo might be the guy. But
Westfield actually.
Pack it in, Johnny. It's awful. But back onto this team, I do like it, and I do like his IDP spots. That Al Shahir is an absolute tackling monster. And I think Patrick Queen will suit the way the Steelers play. And I think he'll just rack up the tackles and rack up the points. So I feel like, yeah, like you said, he's got a very balanced team there. Like Jerome Ford, everyone. Like, I'm just going to go off script a second here with this because people pick Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb went before Jerome Ford. And the guy who picked Nick Chubb has Jacobs, fair enough. Pacheco, fair enough. Javonte Williams, even though I like the idea of him this year, a season removed from his injury, you don't know anything about him. And then he's gone Nick Chubb over the guy who's actually the true one for the team is baffling to me. Yeah. How late you can get Jerome Ford and everyone still goes on Nick Chubb. People need to remember like what he actually did to his knee. People don't just bounce back straight away and get rolling. Like it's wild. Like Jonathan Brooks here for the Panthers, I get it because of his talent. And if I'm right in saying he did come back sparingly at the back end of the year for the Longhorns, but to pick him over when you only have Spears, and then you've got Najee, Zach Moss, Moser, Singletary, Brian Robinson. You got Brown for the Bengals, who's getting big hype in preseason. Eckler, Jerome Ford, Gus Edwards, all them players. Like, sometimes we just get too carried away with ourselves. Sometimes with the new sexy name, don't we? And we don't just keep it simple.
I like what Will Barrow did here. Well, I don't know if I like it necessarily, but I noticed what he did. He went real wide receiver heavy with Wilson, Nakua, Neighbors, Diggs, Rice. All 5 of those in the top 6 rounds.
Yeah, and Kincaid it is good that because if I'm right in thinking it's a 3 wide receiver league, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've looked at that many different leagues. So I get why he's done it because essentially you need to have 3 wide receivers playing at all times. So it's like Rashee Rice. Obviously, no one knows what's going to happen to him, but what if all slot who've not touched him because he's meant to be getting like this 8-game ban and they turn around and go, oh no, we're going to postpone it till the end of this next season. And then everyone who picked up Rashee Rice at a steal ends up just getting the true one for the Chiefs. What is quite a funny thing to look at.
Yeah, I have Rice on maybe 1 or 2 teams. I really don't know what to do with him. I tried to move him in most. He could be another breakout player this year, or he could end up being a bust. It depends. I think Worthy is going to take over the number 1 position, honestly.
I think he will.
He looks good.
Yeah, he's electric. He really is.
All right. So is there anything you'd like to discuss before we go to the next league?
I like Stoke NFL.
Stoke
Chase,
NFL. All right.
What is he? 2, 4, 6, 8. Chase Adams, Evans. Then you've got ETN. Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson, I think another player who's been really slept on. With the way that whole team's being constructed at the moment, he might be the best player out of all of them. Like, then Goddard had his injury problems last year. Obviously, the Eagles just stunk the gaff out at the back end of the year, but he's always consistent. Musgrave showed good potential. Tight end's probably a bit thin, but then he's got Frank Warner in his IDP, and James. Not a big fan of secondary players in my IDP spots, but I do understand why he's gone there.
Well, James, when he was healthy, he was a fairly decent scorer in the IDP slot. But when he gets injured, obviously he doesn't perform that. I was looking at Duke right next to Stoke NFL. I do like what Duke has done here. He has Marvin Harrison, Waddle, Debo, Brown, that's not too bad. You don't know what to expect from Brown, but he could end up having a monster year. He did have over a couple of 1,000-yard seasons with Jackson. I'm not so sold on his Henry pick, but I really do like Benson and Corum later on. But Jay Daniels as his starter in round 13. What are you thinking about Duke? Did he reach too much, or are you thinking it's what are you thinking?
No, I think he's. I do like his tight end duo. They're literally could be weekly starters with the tight end premium. You got to remember with this league. I do like that. He's wide receivers. You just got to take that Marvin Harrison. It's just going to be Marvin Harrison, what you saw in college. So you got 4 solid wide receiver, 5, in fact, with Myers at the bottom. I don't mind the Derrick Henry pick. I think he's going to have a really good year this year, solely because like defenses are going to have to decide, are we going to go all in on Henry? Because if we half-ass blocking him and he ends up getting the ball, he's taking that 3-yard gain when the first guy comes to him to a 15, 20-yard gain because you've not got enough men around him. So he's going to be really interesting, that team with him as a dynamic, but I don't mind that pick. I think he's going to have a really good year this year. He's in the perfect situation to just create like separation for himself because of Lamar.
What is he going to be, 31?
I don't really buy into that. You got Lamar, so you can keep him fresh. Really doesn't matter. Like,
it's going to be a fun league, I think. A lot of these teams are quite even. I think we're seeing that as a theme. There's a lot of tough, or a lot of teams have drafted well. It's going to be a tough competition. All right, Johnny, who do we have in the next league? This one here is Coolin Hill, Division 3. All right, with it. Wow, they're just got to round 10, so not as many players to take a look at. Let's see who we have here. If I recognize any of the owners.
Football Fart
I think he has the Beazles League. So let's take. Oh wow, he traded 3 of his first 4 picks.
Oh man, how many trades went down in this league? This is a head scratcher, right? So Football Fartface has got McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, and Kyle Pitts. Then
Debo, Burrow, Blair, D. Johnson from Carolina. Who is that? Oh, Deontay Johnson. Okay.
Yeah. And I like that pick.
Mostert in round 9. Is that too early?
No, I don't think it is. Probably is over like a Devin Singletary, there's not really anyone at the Giants to challenge him really as of yet. So he's got that whole backfield to himself pretty much.
I think I definitely would have gone Harris before Mostert. I mean,
what's the craziest one to me is, let me get this right. Yeah, Jonathan Brooks has gone so high again over like David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, Tony Pollard.
And he's going to miss the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's a mad one. How high he's going in some drafts.
I don't see Brooks really performing this year.
I don't with the knee injury. Like I said, I think he came back at the end of the year for the Texas, but used very sparingly. But I think that's just because they were in a position to go to the national championship. Otherwise, I don't think he would have been used. And I think, if anything, you got to think that's going to put his overall progress and fitness back so much now coming into the league.
So you got to be liking Baxteros. You mentioned that you like Cup, and he's got Samuel, and then he's got St. Brown, which we had mentioned earlier. You got to be liking his wide receivers.
And Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk. Yeah, and then his running backs.
Goku.
He got White, which was number 8 last year, and then Jalen Warren fighting with Harris and Roman.
I do like what he's constructed there
right now.
I've got a. What do you think to Joe Hudson? He's 4th from the end. He's a mate of mine, so I'm interested to see what you think.
All right, well, he's got Laporta, 2nd round. That looks pretty solid with the tight end premium. Wait, what? Okay, Bijan, 1st round. Okay, Ayuk. I could have. Okay, why not? I'm not expecting big things. Richardson. I'm not liking the Allen and McLaurin picks, to be honest. I think that's too high for those. And, the reason why is because I'm not expecting big things from Allen. He didn't have a great season last year. Well, maybe,
I think didn't he get injured last year? That was the big thing on Allen.
Yeah, Brooks won't be available until week 4, is what I have read. So, yeah, I'm just not, sold on Ayuk. I've been avoiding him this season. I drafted him quite a bit last year in the low rounds, actually. But 3rd round, I don't know. This team, I really like. I'm not against the first 4 picks. Duke would love Richardson in the 4th round. And, you've spoken highly of Diggs, but I'm not sold on the other. But Zamir White, running back 1, Devin Singletary, running back 1. He's building a solid team, but I don't like any of his players.
I can't wait to tell him rub it in. You do got to remember, though.
I do like John. I do like Laporta, but I'm not.
I'm not an Ayuk. I'm not an Ayuk fan. No,
I'm not Ayuk. I'm not on the Ayuk bandwagon this season. Yeah, I do
like Terry McLaurin this year because if Daniels can do what Daniels did at LSU, he can make McLaurin really relevant, and that could be good. Now, also, the Commanders could be a home for Ayuk with all the buzz from the offseason. What might not be a bad place, but then that shoots him in the foot because then he's got 2 Washington players, and it's like, it's kind of a shit show then, isn't it?
They've been talking about Scary Terry having a breakout year every single year for the past 4 years. It's never happened.
I like Jaden Daniels this year, and I feel like he might be.
He could be rookie of the year. I think
he's the best quarterback McLaurin's had in his career. So this is the time now. If he's going to actually do something and Jaden Daniels actually comes in and performs and he still can't get it done, then you've just got to forget about him being an actual fantasy person. Keenan Allen, just remember, Keenan Allen was 8th in PPR last year.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty solid. But going to a new team. I don't know.
Yeah, there's too many. I do know what you mean. I don't like that whole Bears situation. I don't like the whole Caleb Williams. That whole situation for me is just a bit too many mouths to feed for a rookie.
There, you have Allen, then you have DJ Moore, and then DeAndre Swift, I think, is the new running back, right? That whole team could be either amazing offense or be a complete bust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the one player that I've noticed. How far has DeAndre Swift fallen?
Where is
he? He's not even drafted yet, I don't think. I don't think I've seen him on any of the drafts.
He's there in the 3rd round.
3rd round? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the Narn Knights, 3rd round.
Wow. Before Derrick Henry and Pacheco.
Wow. DeAndre
even before Rashad White. Achan, wow. He must be a Bears fan. That is crazy. He's got Swift and Montgomery as his only running backs.
Oh, my.
That's crazy.
Oh, my. And Mahomes was an auto pick, which I'm sure.
He's had a stinker, hasn't he? He's had a stinker there. Oh, Craig will be.
And Nakua is hurt. I hope
Craig's drafted him just before him, and just after him, he'll be licking his chops and all that. He'll be loving that. You see Mahomes go off first, he'll be like, oh, yes.
Oh, my.
I'm just trying to see.
Interesting division. This is the most crazy league we've seen so far, I think. And here you can see Prescott in the 4th round. And in the first league, Prescott was in like round 11.
I'm just trying to. Samram, he's constructed a nice little team with his IDPs already picked up. Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, Jameson Williams. I like the first two. They're not too bad. Jameson Williams is your 3rd wide receiver, but I can see why that's come about. And then Nick Chubb as your 3rd running back. When really Barkley's a bit of an unknown with Hurts.
If the team stays healthy, it can be solid. But any injury to any of the top 2 guys.
He took
JJ over Tyreek. Who took JJ?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Craig, what you doing?
Our Fox kid took him.
That's Craig.
Is that Craig? Yeah, that's Craig. And weren't we just talking? Craig was saying that people are taking Jefferson.
He took Jefferson and Chase and missed out on Tyreek. The
Ibrox kid actually has Jefferson and Chase.
And then he's got Kelsey and Pacheco. So he's got 2 Chiefs players. What I'm not a big fan of. And then he doesn't even have Kamara. So where's his other?
No, I'm not seeing who has Pacheco. Yeah,
and then he's traded out there as well. He's got Ridley, James Cook,
Murray. Okay. I'm not sold on Murray.
I don't know if I like that. Thanks for heads up on that, Everett. What's he doing? Tyreek Goldie.
And his only tight end is a tight end that gets. At least Duke had Kelsey matched with Ferguson, right? Kelsey gets hurt. You got Ferguson. Here, Kelsey gets hurt. Who's he going to have?
Johnny's just put in the chat. Craig did it live on air and realised he made a mistake. Oh dear. I'm trying to see which team stand out. I don't mind Joel's team. I do like what he's done there. I do like his logic in Anthony Richardson. If he can last longer than 5 games, is shown that he could be an absolute monster. I'd like Stephon Diggs. Keenan Allen's a PPR safety blanket. Terry McLaurin potentially could have a good year. Brandon Ayuk, don't like that. Bijan's up there, potentially in top 5 RB by the end of the year. Laporta's, if he carries on doing what he did the year before. So I do like what he's done. But it's very evenly spread, this, isn't it?
If you look at what Webby has done, now I don't know if I would have taken Josh Allen number 1. But look at his running backs. Even if you take out Brooks, it's pretty solid with Jacobs, Walker, Williams, and Pollard as your number 3 or 4.
Well, he's got the RB1 on the year, hasn't he, in Ken Walker? So he's made a solid RB choice there. Is that Johnny in disguise?
Even though there's 2 rookies, they could both be solid players this year.
Do you reckon that's Johnny's team in disguise? All them running backs are one team. That's got to be Johnny's Johnny's burner account, isn't it?
Yeah. Hey, man, I love taking running backs as well. But Webby Wank, I've never met Webby Wank. That's an interesting name.
Yeah, definitely think there's something else to that name.
All right, Johnny, let's get out of Webby Wank's league and let's see who we have next.
Yeah, maybe you might want to change his name, Johnny. Webby Wank.
Webby Wank. There you go.
Oh, is this me?
Oh. All right. Again, we have McCaffrey, CMC number 1, mostly through the first 10 rounds. Just looking through the first, Mahomes, a quarterback in the first round. I'm surprised to still see that, to be honest. If they watched our show, they would know not to do that.
Yeah.
You have Gary with Kittle and Njoku. That could be a solid tight end tandem, drafted, fairly late, to be honest. Collins to me is a question mark because you don't know how Diggs is going to do. But you have Jefferson, Collins, Worthy. That's not too bad. Pacheco and Williams. Okay.
This is my league getting abused for no trades.
This is your league.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got Brees and we got London. Okay, Kelsey. Oh,
so
everyone's getting Kelsey. You and Craig.
So I think my picks are from up to Diggs, and then I went away for the weekend. So at festival, got no signal. So Johnny did Pickens, McLaurin, Okurike, Singletary, and then I picked Tua today. So I don't mind that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I can see. I mean, Okurike and Pickens, I'm sold. Yes. Singleton, I think, is a great pick that late. He's going to be running back 1. I would get Eric Gray later on because I think he might be seeing some time this year. And Tua in round 10, that's beautiful, man. Why not?
Okay, won the league already.
The Juicy has Chase, Wilson, and Waddle, and Kupp, and Rice at wide receiver.
And Mark Andrews.
Wow.
And Mark Andrews as well at tight end. And then Prescott, he has a good team. They're all rubbish. All of them are rubbish, apart from my team. But, yeah, he's got an all right team there, hasn't he? And then Nick Bolton is his IDP. That's a solid point scorer. He's constructed himself a nice team.
Yeah, that's not bad. I think right now Juicy's looking pretty solid out of the gate in the first 10 rounds.
Jaden Daniels that high.
Jaden Daniels, where is he drafted? Let's see. Who has
Jaden?
Oh,
shit.
Easy. All right.
That's
Swift in the 10th round here.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels in the 7th.
Swift over Cook. And, I think I'm just not sold on Swift. He's never been a top 20 running back. And people continually draft him like he's, a top 20 guy. But he's never finished in the top 20. That's surprising for a lot of people.
Just having a look at who else is. I should be really nice to all of them, shouldn't I? Lure him into a false
security. With them later, so you have to be careful what you say about it.
Yeah. Juicy Ren's got Chase and Garrett Wilson on bye week 12 at the same time. And then he's got Waddle and Pollard on bye together. And then obviously Rice and Nick Bolton, but that's not too bad because the one's offense and defense, and you can kind of cover that gap.
Sometimes I'm kind of okay. If I have 5 or 6 guys out on bye on the same week, I'm not bothered. I might lose that week, but they're all gone on one week,
Yeah.
When I'm,
Just take a hit in a week.
yeah, just take one hit, and I'm okay. And then I have them for the rest of the season, barring injury. Well, I think that there's this. This is. I'm going to take back what I said earlier. I think this is a very interesting league, and I see that Parsons was drafted in the 7th round. Is that too high, Pez?
I think over Franklin, yeah. Franklin should be is that Ernest Jones for the Rams? I get why they've done that, because you could, with losing Aaron Donald, you could imagine that defense take a step back and linebackers are just tackling machines. So I can see why that, but I'm surprised Franklin's that far down on the IDP. But I do like that Johnny sorted me out with the dumpster fire Giants back to back.
Yeah, I know nothing about IDP. I'm always just closing my eyes and pointing. Yeah. Parsons seems to not be a popular pick in the IDP in this league.
Let me get him up.
But, if he finishes with 22 sacks, and that might change people's minds. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see what we've got in the next league, Johnny. I hope I'm not going too fast, but we still have several more leagues.
Yeah, we still got like a whole other conference to do.
Yeah.
I've got another friend coming up in there.
Maybe we finish the West Conference next week, or do you want to do the West Conference tonight, Pez, or what's the plan here?
We'll carry on. We'll get it done.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We got some. I don't know many of these guys. I'm in a league with a couple of them, I think, but not many. Let's take here. You can see the number one guy. He definitely loved to stack his wide receivers. There's no trades. You got Chase, Adams, and Evans, and then Keon Coleman, which I like. Wide receivers are solid. Running backs. I like what he's done with his running backs, and actually, I like his tight end.
Do you not notice who that is?
Again?
Do you not notice who that is?
That's E-Dubs.
Yeah.
That's
rubbish
Mr.
team.
Everett. That's
Rubbish.
Everett.
Awful.
It's the worst
I like what he's done.
team I've seen. Actually, I like what he's done. I do like what he's done. I'm a big running back guy. So having 5 solid running backs like this, and I know a lot of people won't like Elliott, but he's going to get his touches this year. He will be a top 20 guy. I like this team. I like what he's done. What are you thinking? What are you thinking here, Bez?
No, I like his team. When I first saw it, when you started speaking about it, I looked when I was looking at it. Yeah, I like his top first 3 wide receivers. Obviously, he's got the RB1 on the season and Ken Walker. Like, that's just a no-brainer. Joe Burrow, he scares me a little bit with his not throwing for more than 3 days a week in training camp because of his wrist, and he doesn't know, and the ball's all over the gaff. That would concern me. I do get it, because he clearly, as he's put in the comment section, he likes the Burrows chase. He likes his stacks. So if that's the kind of thing he likes doing, fair enough. Keon Coleman, I'm very high on him. If anyone has listened to any of our other shows in the rookies we did a couple of months ago, I really like Keon Coleman. I think that people are just shit talking on him for no reason. I feel like he could, with Josh Allen there, I think he could be really good. So he's got 4 solid wide receivers there for me. Najee Harris, mixed reviews, really.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Johnny. Yeah, he could have had a Lamb Prescott stack. Yeah, but he chose the Chase Burrow stack instead with an injured quarterback. Yeah. So
maybe he knows something we don't.
How that plays out.
or maybe that's his downfall. Be interesting to see as the season goes on. Seeing as he's always here week in, week out, we'll have to do quarterly check-ins on Everett and see how his stack has helped him out.
Yeah, that's a very interesting, because he could have actually had a stack with anybody. He had his choice, right? The stack that he chose was Chase and Burrow. So that's going to be interesting. I like to see how that plays out. Samala.
I do like
number
4 across. Is it similar?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. Yeah.
DJ Moore, again, we spoke about the Cowboys. We spoke about the Bears enough on the show about how we're both in agreement that they could be amazing or absolute dumpster fire. So that puts me off a little bit. I do like the Joshua Palmer pick later on with the Tyreek and the Marvin Harris. I feel like he's got 4 solid enough wide receivers so far to play around with. He's on fire today, isn't he? And then Rashad White, James Conner, with his 2 IDPs there, managed to squeeze them in at 5 and 6. Still got James Conner, Zamir White, and Mostert. At the moment, they're all RB1s for their team, and then get Jaden Daniels with Joshua Palmer. I do like how he's constructed that team.
You know, I hate to say bad things about anyone's team, because wait until you see mine. It might make you want to visit the toilet. Yeah? But when I look at old man's team, to be honest, I'm not really sold on the construction. The running back depth, okay, Gibbs, but he's not going to be a bell cow, but he'll probably be a top 10 running back. All right, I got that. Kyron Williams, again, one season, you don't know what he's going to do. The Rams have a history of running backs coming and going. You never know what to expect. Then you have Debo that had a bad year last year. And then McLaurin, which is maybe, but you could have had Kirk or, I don't know. I don't know if you would like to have Addison, but Pollard and Corum as his number 3 and 4 running backs. What do you think about old man's team here?
As Johnny put in the comments, he's kind of covered his ass with the Rams running backs there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In how deep like the roster is it a bit early to be doing something like that? But he's kind of covered his ass with them 2 selections. I'm guessing he might have some ideas for other running backs further down, but you've got the usual the late on guys: Zach Moss, Gus Edwards, Devin Singletary, Elliott, Ford. So all your late RB1s for the team have already gone. So it'll be interesting to see how he builds them running backs up. Wide receiver, they're not bad, but I do know what you mean with your pessimism on it. Kincaid, everyone's picking him because they're seeing him technically as
a wide receiver 1 type option.
Essentially, yeah, the one. But I've got a little thing there. What concerns me about Kincaid is everyone's just writing off Dawson. Is it Dawson Knox? Or it's Knox anyway, isn't it? Everyone's just kind of forgetting about him. But for seasons now, Josh Allen loves targeting Knox. He always has done. Like in some kind of like vital situations in the game and stuff, he'll go to Knox over Kincaid. Now, whether that's just because Kincaid was the rookie and Knox with more experience, or that's just Josh Allen's preferred guy at the spot. So it will be interesting to see how that whole Kincaid thing over Mark Andrews, that might be another thing that might bite him in the arse.
When I see a league like this, it makes me think that there's actually a fairly good amount of owners that have an idea of the right type of players to choose. And that's what happens when you have a lot of teams that have, either they reached for guys or took question mark picks because, like Dalton Kincaid, perhaps, it's because most of these guys that have been drafted, I can agree where they were drafted. If you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of good players that are dropping to where you can get a steal because the good guys are being drafted where they're supposed to be. But Everett, I really like his team. I think so far, he has a very good makeup that could really having that running back depth, I think, is going to pay dividends towards the end of the seasons because running backs get hurt all the time. Yeah.
Another one I'm just going to quickly mention before we move on is, I mean, a couple of I think a leagues he set up himself is that Team Trade Frenzy. I think he is. He's number 5 in the order, and he's kind of the flip. Nice. He's the flip to Everett, so he's gone wide. Like his wide receivers are absolutely stacked.
Yeah, but his running backs, oh my.
Yeah, his running backs are non-existent, but you can only think with the wide receivers he's got there, he might be seeing what he can get at the running back position and then maybe use them as trade bait.
Still there. When's his pick? I think he has the next pick, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's on next, isn't he?
There.
Trey Benson.
He has this pick.
Oh, it's shit.
If he's not going Benson, he's crazy.
Chuba Hubbard, because essentially he is the one for the Panthers at the moment, and then you maybe take a flyer on J.K. Dobbins. Like that's scary enough as it is.
Kendra Miller.
Oh, behave yourself with that bloody Kendra Miller nonsense.
Hey, he has to take Trey Benson here. He has to. Everett, you better not. You better hope he doesn't. I guess. Yeah, but Trey Benson would instantly be his running back 1, I think. Yeah, you should be trying to make a trade with him. Get one of his wide receivers.
Yeah. Najee Harris or Cooper Kupp or something.
Yeah. All right, Johnny, let's go to the next league. Oh, my. I'm getting closer to my league, and I'm getting nervous.
All right, West Coast draft. When's the West Coast? Oh,
all right. Yeah, we are. I think the last league was West Coast as well, so we've done a couple already. So we got CMC number 1. Wow, this is in round 13. They're cruising. Let's see what we got here. Hill, Harrison, and then, wow, he didn't pick it. Look at what Chris Budge did. First 2 picks running back, or wide receiver. And then not again until round 10.
I like that, though. Like, he managed to put together Tyreek, Marvin Harris, Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara. Then he's got 2 top, 2 IDPs absolutely. These 2 IDPs sewn up. Then got Goddard, and then another IDP, Joe Burrow. I don't like his quarterbacks personally. Austin Eckler, I don't mind that. I feel like he could do well at Washington. With Jaden Daniels using his legs a lot, you can use Austin Eckler. You're not relying on him like the Chargers were and then wondering why he was running like a 90-year-old man when you were just making him do everything. I don't mind that. He's definitely gone IDP heavy, but maybe that's just like it was his downfall last year, and he's overcompensated on going high on the defenders. But this league all looks like they've gone pretty high on the defensive players.
Look at what one Dave Hendo, I think he's number 6 over. Starts with St. Brown, and then Allen and Blair Thomas. His IDP, he has 3 IDPs. Mike Williams, I think Mike Williams is a great pick in the 13th round here.
Yeah, Could be a really decent pickup. Very thin at wide receiver, really.
Oh yeah.
I do like Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jags. I feel like he could supplant himself as the one as the season rolls on, just because of his attributes. He could help Trevor Lawrence out a lot. But Herbert has got that foot issue. I don't know. That whole Chargers situation, I don't personally. I don't want to touch that Chargers situation. What about D Love? What do you think about D Love 8? He is actually 8th overall. Starts with Breece Hall and Trevor Etienne.
You know, I like Etienne. He's an exciting player. I personally don't draft him in the first 2 rounds. I just think that that whole Jacksonville offense, I think is unpredictable about what you're going to expect from it year to year. One year they're lights out. The next 2 or 3 years, they're the worst in the NFL.
But he was RB3 on the year last year.
Again?
Yeah, ETM.
Yeah, what was he?
RB3.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I mean, but I do like, you got Hall, Williams, and Ford. His running backs are stacked. And I like what he's done at wide receiver. He has Worthy and McConkey, which are high-end rookies to be betting on. I think McConkey is going to
Coleman as well.
And we got Keon Coleman. Wow, he definitely went rookie heavy on the wide receivers.
Yeah, so it's another one of my mates, and he told me that he just went for total rookie upside because I can't remember what his reasoning was for that. George Kittle, Brock Bowers, that'll be interesting. If Brock Bowers pays off, it could be an absolute steal.
How many rookies does he have?
He's lost his head, I think. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4? 4 or 5?
4 rookies. Yeah, and they're all like high level. He needs big production from these guys.
He's going for second half of the year big bounce back, isn't he? When they all start firing. Yeah. I do like the Patrick Queen pickup at the back end. I think he is listening as well, so we should have slagged him off a bit more, shouldn't we?
Well, I mean, I personally wouldn't take over this orphan team if someone paid me money. It's that bad.
Oh man!
I'm joking, D-Love. I'm joking, my man. I'm joking. But hey, I like this right here with Bijan and John Taylor. I think everyone is on John Taylor. He's going to rock it this year. He was last year, if you remember. He was coming back from an injury-plagued season. He was fighting about his contract. He didn't participate in training camp. He reported late. He was not ready for the season. And then he got injured, I think, again last year at the beginning of the season. John Taylor is back healthy, and he's going to dominate. What do you think about Taylor?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think I don't hear anyone talking about him, anyone really overly hyped on him. And I just think he's going to be one of them where everyone's just going to be like, oh, why don't I just pick Taylor when he was there right in front of my eyes? But I went for fucking someone else. Cooper Kupp in the second round. I've just got sidetracked. Delboy Dexter.
What? Delboy Dexter? How did this happen?
That's fucking wild. And he's got Ken Walker as well.
AJ Brown sitting right there, and he took Kupp, and I hate AJ Brown.
Here he is representing the rookies. He is listening, so we should have slagged him off a little bit more.
Managers make big decisions.
We'll see if he's saying that at the end of the year.
Yeah. Oh my!
But I do.
Hey, you guys are going to have your chance when my team comes up. Don't worry. All right, Johnny.
But I do like Mark. I do like Mark's construction. Back onto the Bijan GT side. Yeah, I do like his wide receivers as well. I'm quite high on Deontay Johnson. He's going up and up. When I first started looking at mock drafts and stuff, he was in the double-digit rounds, and now clearly everyone's moving him to around that 8th, 9th round position because he's a good PPR machine. And I expect with the head coach Canales and Bryce Young, I expect Bryce Young to have a steady incline this year in his production. What will help some of these wide receivers, I think. But I do like Mark and Delboy's the way they're doing.
Yeah, of course you like Walker in the 4th round.
Gibbs, Walker, not big on Swift, but in the 8th round, it's a bit more realistic.
Of a range that Swift is being drafted. 3rd round, 5th round. What was this? 8th round? Interesting.
And then the Gus Edwards pick, I think he could be an absolute. If he health granted, he could be a steal just because of what Jim Harbaugh does with his football teams.
Harbaugh, I trust.
And then Cup, Evans, and Amari Cooper is his 3 wide receivers with Lockett as his spare. Tight end Schultz, I'm not like too many weapons in that Texans. He probably needs to get himself another tight end there. Solid IDPs. And then if you go back to Mark, he has just picked up an IDP I really like from last year, Al Shahir. So them two have got really nice overall balanced teams. The one thing I do like about Delboy Dexter is something that I believe in. If there's a player you really like and you can't be asked fucking around waiting for the perfect round what the IDP says, just go and get him early. It really doesn't matter. If you like him that high, just go and get him early.
That's why I always get Kendra Miller in the 3rd or 4th round.
Oh, he just picked whilst we were on air as well.
Wow, okay.
We've had a live show.
The more I look at Mark's team, I'm not sold on his wide receivers, but they're all guys that could be top 20 guys, easy top 20, top 10. And his running backs, I really like. He has Prescott and Daniels in case of an injury. I like what he's doing there.
That's what I really like. My thing with fantasy, I really like Jaden Daniels, but it would be exactly what he's done there, Dak Prescott and the Jaden Daniels. Do you know? I picked Jaden Daniels up as a backup just in case he ends up having a Lamar Jackson rookie year, and then obviously you shoot him straight into your team. A winner in it then. And then you kind of got a Dak Prescott there what you could probably use as trade bait if he's still performing well enough. So I like what he's done there, yeah.
Yeah, and G-Man really went wide receiver heavy in picks 5 through 9. A little early on Kelsey in round 2. Wow. Kelsey in round 2.
Is it your division next?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, let's stop holding it off.
Yeah, I think I'm coming up here pretty soon.
If Ken Walker's not on your team, I want you to leave the show.
All right. Fine. This is my league.
Oh, Jesus.
We're cruising along through pick 18 or 15. Hey, what do you think of that Pork Belly 322 team? I really like Micah Parsons in the 4th round here.
Oh, see, Micah had a terrible year last year, but if he bounces back to his first 2 years, he's top 5 IDP player, hence why he goes that high. Personally, you've kind of you pick DJ Moore over Mike Evans. I know DJ Moore's got that big contract, what would presume he's going to still be the one. It's a rookie and it's unknown, whereas Mike Evans is literally the one there.
Yes.
And then you've picked Parsons early over Ken Walker. We'll have to discuss that off air. That's questionable.
Yeah.
It's like a cardinal sin.
Yeah.
And
at least
then,
I didn't pick Swift in the 4th round, though.
Pickens, I like Pickens. McConkey, I don't really like that. I don't like that whole situation. Nakua, yes, from last year, you can see. Not a big fan of DJ Moore, like I said, the Bears. Jake Ferguson, I think, could be slept on quite a bit on the tight end position. And then your running backs, you're kind of hoping, aren't you, there with Trey Beckman?
I'm real thin on running back. There's not much left. There's really not much left.
Go on, Everett, get him.
I hate the 11th position in any draft. It has to be the worst position to draft. And, I just wasn't feeling any of these guys that were left. I like Harrison, but being the rookie with Murray, you have no idea. I should have taken Evans, I agree, but these other guys, I'm not a Devontae Smith guy. Waddle, okay, but Moore was, I think, wide receiver 3 last year. So, of course, it is with a rookie. But, yeah. I can't say the other
Let me
team.
have a look.
I don't want to talk bad about my other guys here. But
because you're going to need to trade with him.
Yeah. Hey, I got the E. Jones guy from the Rams that you like.
Like, you took Trey Benson over Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, Tony Pollard.
Yeah, because, Trey Benson is an unknown that's a rookie running back that could be a dynamic offense. And, there's always going to be a rookie running back or a running back that comes out of nowhere. And Trey Benson is the best bet this year. So,
do you know where Will Anderson finished last year in IDP? These rankings are a bit misskewed. But so you picked Will Anderson up in the 9th.
Yeah.
And missed out on maybe a Ridley, a Coleman, a Singletary, Elliott, and he came 797.
Yeah, see, I don't think rankings are exactly accurate. But
if you looked at his scoring from last year, it kind of reflects just that.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Did you get carried away with the name?
And sometimes it takes these guys a year to develop, and then boom, he's going to break out. Lead the league in sacks. Who knows? But
it's like here as well. You picked Justin Herbert, and in my opinion, you should have gone for Gus Edwards there.
Yeah.
To strengthen your RB. Yeah, you've lost out so many times because then you get your ass kicked by losing out on Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, and Chuba Hubbard, who are technically the ones for their team.
Well, I was really hoping Ford would have come back around, but obviously he did not.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not real excited about my team.
Everett asked how many wins did you get last year?
7. I finished 7-7. But I finished the year on a 6-1 run. So that tells you. And 3 of my losses, if you remember last year in the shows, 3 of my losses were I scored the second most points in the league.
Oh, man.
I mean, how did you lose 3 times in 1 year when you score the second most points during that week? Yeah, it's burning a bit. It's getting a little bit bitter around here. Johnny, do we have one more league? I don't remember seeing my buddy's league on here.
Oh, man.
We have at least one more. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have one more. Oh my. Here we go. So I'm curious what you think about the first team here, Pez. Lemony Fresh.
He's got McCaffrey, Rashad White, and Tony Pollard, Waddle, Cup, and Rice. Josh Allen.
Yeah, Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram was tight end 2 last year. Probably still keep that same production in that team. Frank Warner, tackling machine. I like it. It looks
so
quite. So far, it looks quite balanced. The wide receivers probably, but we're still in the 9th. Yeah. There's probably still a lot of wide receivers for him to go at to strengthen that group.
Yeah, definitely need some more wide receivers.
Pollard's a dodgy one because of Spears. Like, Pollard should be the one, really. But after last year's, like, Spears showed good production last year, good potential. Pollard had a really stinky year, so Rashee Rice, is he going to get banned? Is he not going to get banned? If he doesn't get banned, then he's got 3 solid wide receivers there, what he can then build on. Ingram, solid tight end to have.
Yeah, I mean, he got Ingram late too in the 6th round. That's actually that's good value. Allen was a little high, but he still got his guy that he wanted. By the way, this is my buddy. He will be happy to hear what you said.
Yeah, the thing with Allen is he's just like a fantasy. He's just like a fantasy cheat code in a sense because of everything he does. So you can't really, if there's one player you can't really complain about going so high on, is probably Josh Allen.
Yeah.
See, now looking actually more at it, the Waddle pick over a Drake London, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, and Michael Pittman, where he picked Waddle, clearly he likes him. Yeah. Because I would have been more tempted to go with Drake London, Chris Olave, Devontae Adams, or Pittman over Waddle because they're like the ones for their team. You're getting cooked in the chat as well.
Yeah. And that extra crispy comment stayed on my screen for like 5 minutes.
I think Johnny left it there on purpose as well for you.
Yeah. And feeling, like I said, the meat's getting a bit bitter around here. The pork's getting a bit, bitter. Extra crispiness.
What do you think to Ads T666? Gone tight end, double tight end high, double defensive, but then still managed to get Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tank Dell, and Rome Odunze.
Yeah, and his running backs, he still got Harris and Spears that could be top 15 guys,
Yeah.
That's not bad. Jack started tight. Yeah, look at that. Tight end.
You can see he starts tight end going that high on him, so that must be his. That's why he's in Division 4, then I take it.
Well, I'm not much better.
I'm only joking. Oh, man.
Hey, Micah Parsons in the 5th round. So
you got a steal then in your standards.
Yeah.
Oh, Macca. So Macca's another one of he's the dad to one of my mates who's also, I've not actually seen him knocking around in this, but I'm sure they're both in it. Let's have a look how he's doing. Max Crosby, Parsons, IDP back to back, and then he's got Nakua, Nico Collins, Jalen Reed. I like his 2 running backs, what he's got there. Stroud stacked with Nico. No, I'm not a big fan of the Nico Collins situation. Too many mouths in that, and I think Stephon Diggs is going to be the main guy. Josh Jacobs and Ramondre Stevenson, I think, are 2 solid running backs to work on. His IDP, I think he's gone a bit too high there and lost out on Amari Cooper, Ken Walker.
I'm all in. Ever.
Like, he's lost out on a few there with them 2 IDP spots when really, like, there's a few names from last year that are just monsters at that position week in, week out. But I think the biggest steal in the whole IDP situation is Jordan Brooks at Miami, because I feel like where the Seahawks didn't use him how he was used at Texas Tech, I feel like Miami is going to use Jordan Brooks. And I saw him go in a couple of leagues in like the 13th, 14th round. And if you can get him in them rounds with like
I did get him in that round in one of my leagues. I'm glad
Yeah.
you said it. I was questioning my Brooks pick.
I think Jordan Brooks is going to be a monster because he's a tackling machine. He proved that at Seattle. Bobby Wagner, the Commanders. He might be old, but I think he sneakily finished second in the IDP rankings last year. Yeah. So I don't like this idea of going so high on your IDP players, except for a few names that week in, week out just score big numbers. Yeah, it's not my way to draft, but that might be where I'm going wrong.
And I would like to remind everyone that these are obviously our opinions, and based on our records last year, we are the experts, and all of you should listen to us.
Tune in for Everett's advice in the comments because he's in the first division.
Yeah, I think Pez and I, the guys that have the show, we actually did not qualify for the playoffs last year. I think Pez had 2 wins. Is that right?
No, I was better than that. I came on strong towards the back end. I think I won 7 or 8. I know Johnny will stat correct me now and make me look stupid.
Yeah,
but
excellent. And I don't think Johnny made the playoffs last year either, did he?
I think he did.
Oh, did he? Excellent. Congrats. Yeah, at least one of us made it. I'm not expecting big things this year out of my team. I really, yeah. You know, a lot of times I'm making my picks at like 5:30 in the morning, right after I wake up. And I am still
Maybe
out.
You should have a coffee.
Yeah, Johnny finished 3rd and lost in the playoffs.
Well, that's not good enough. We're all a bunch of losers on this show.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of losers. But anyway, all right. So I think that's the last division. Is that right, Johnny?
Yes, that's the last division.
Excellent. Well, so that was a little bit of a long show, but we got them all done. I'm glad we carried through so Johnny can cut them down and post them out into the leagues. Pez, thanks for a great show. Thanks for the insight. Johnny, as always, thanks for the production quality in the booth there. Can't do it without you. Any last comments from anyone?
No. Hopefully everyone enjoys
it. I did put the thing up earlier on about joining the Pork and Pez Pigskins with against the spread. If anybody wants to join, give us a shout.
Pick'em League. If you watch the show, send Johnny a message that you would like to join the Pork and Pez Football Pick'em League, to where you can see who of us are the best prognosticators in the OrkneyBowl.
We'll finish the bottom 3 more like. Yeah.
All of you are playing for second. I'm already accepting my first place trophy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Everett.
All right, everyone. I am hungry. I have not eaten dinner, so I am out, and I will see you next week. That is it. Thank you, Pez. Thank you, Johnny. I am Pork. See you next week. Later.